Welcome to the Goozecast. This is a little bit different format. I have my brother online here. Say hello, Matt.
Hello, everybody out there in internet world.
Yes, we have a interesting and a special video for you guys. We have a big thing to talk about when it comes to kids. I was driving around recently, and I was on the phone with somebody, and they were just talking with me about their kids and how much of a drag they were and a burden they were. And I was sitting there trying to hold back everything that I could to pretty much chew the person out. Unfortunately, I work with them, so that might not have been the best idea to hash out right there.
Maybe
But
not, maybe.
I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Matt, have you had similar conversations like that?
Yeah, I mean, you run into that all the time with people where, like anytime, and a lot of it is like quasi serious. You know what I mean? Like you can tell maybe they're not even 100%, or they don't even 100% believe what they're saying, but it's like and they do this with wives too. Wives and spouses do this a lot too.
Oh,
But it's like a something to be joked about is, oh, if you took my kid home, you'd send him back within 5 minutes, or my kid's absolutely crazy. He gets that from his father. Like it's like a humorous topic to a lot of people to talk
yeah.
down about their kids, whether it's in front of them or not in front of them. I've seen it both ways. You run into it really all the time. It's throughout all the culture. It's kind of like the in thing to do if you're a parent. Like you joke about your kids,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean.
Which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad that number one, that people joke about it. Like, yes, it might be a joke, but maybe you shouldn't joke about stuff like that. Maybe you should talk good about your spouse and good about your kids. That's a good habit to have, I think. Uh,
Yeah.
but I will say, we are going to discuss kids, how many we think you should have, like the number at which. I think we discussed this previously on the Goose Cast, but we have another special guest. I don't know if you know that, Matt. We have
Oh,
another
really?
special guest that's about to join us. But before we get to that, please like, comment, subscribe. We are kind of new to the YouTube space, so help us out, help your boy out. But also we are a affiliate with Covenant Eyes. If you don't have accountability software on your phones, on your devices, on your PCs, you should use our code GC30 at Covenant Eyes, and that will get you 30 days free. Please do that. You're doing yourself a favor and your family. But we're also on Twitter, Facebook, and we have a Gmail, thegoosecast@gmail.com. Send us
Yep.
anything you want except for the bad things. Except for the bad things and inappropriate things. Don't send us any of those, too.
Yeah, and don't disagree with us. You can
Yeah,
send us
please.
anything you want that agrees with me and him,
Yes.
but mostly me.
In fact, I have a feeling this special guest is going to only agree with us.
Yeah, I would say that that's probably true. I can't imagine you bringing on a guest that doesn't agree with me. That just wouldn't work out.
Yeah. No, I paid this guy extra just
Yeah.
to agree. So let's introduce our friend. We are gonna get Chat GPT on the line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mr.
But here,
GPT, is it first name Chat, last name GPT? Is that how it
yeah.
is?
But you say it like chat, but like, oh,
Oh.
like someone says Chad, only Chat GPT.
That's how all the young kids talk these days. They're like, "Yo, chat," if something crazy happens.
Yeah. You're a streamer. You should know. Yo, Chat, let's go.
Yeah, I don't say chat enough though. For being a streamer, I should say chat more. I kind of
You should
am
say Chat.
lagging. I'm lagging
You
on
should
my
say
chat
Chat.
says.
But you're not a Call of Duty streamer, so they say
Oh,
Chat all the time.
that's true. Well, all streamers do. If you're under the age of like 27.
To the Goose Cast Chat GPT.
GBT.
What is it gonna say? Thanks for having me on the Goosecast. What's on the agenda today? Are we diving into leadership, business,
Ooh,
strategy, faith, or something else entirely?
hey,
Haha!
it mentioned faith. That's interesting.
So I've actually in previous Chat GPT messages I've pretty much informed it of the Goosecast,
Oh yeah.
and kind of threw stuff at it. We also debated abortion with my wife. So I got Chat GPT on, and I debated Chat GPT over abortion.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
don't use Chat GPT. I use Grok. Um, but
Wow.
today I did form an alliance with Grok
Okay.
to where it is now agreed to help me win more arguments with my wife.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
that.
I
Uh,
have a whole bunch of screenshots of Grok helping me convince my wife to replace the dish rag when she throws it in the dirty clothes. And at
are
one
you gonna
point
get one
we
of Musk's robots to go do that for you?
no, because he Grok's fixed it already. He's given me the right sentences to say to get her
Okay.
to do what I need her to do. And
Yeah.
basically we're gonna convince her that if she doesn't do it, it could cause a global breakdown, pandemic, and cancer.
That's amazing. I'm afraid we can't get Grok on here because I'm afraid Grok is too based.
Oh.
We need somebody a little bit more liberal, I guess you should say.
Well,
Um,
let's see what Chat GPT brings to the
okay.
table then.
Okay, so let's start with something basic. Let's start by asking it, how many kids do you we want to know what Chat GPT says and all of its knowledge. We want to know what Chat GPT has what he thinks, if I can call it a he,
It's an
can
it.
I call you a he? I said you a. You can call
You,
me whatever makes the conversation feel natural for you. If he works, go for it.
all
On your
right.
mind today? Okay, so he's already in good spirits.
Pronouns are he, him, or whatever else you want, is what he's telling you.
Okay.
Ask Chat GPT if I can be the host.
No,
Okay.
it's too liberal. He'll probably
Uh,
want you as the host and
well,
somebody that's not based.
yeah,
All
because
right,
I'm trans.
so let's start off simple. How many kids do you think I should have?
Hmm.
Okay.
In all of its wisdom.
That's a deeply personal decision that depends on a lot of factors. Okay, hold on. I think we got to go some okay, so usually Chat GPT, I don't know if Grok's like this, but it overloads you with information from one message.
Holy crap! It knows your wife's name.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's
Uh
scary, actually.
yeah, well, it also helped us out in our business too. But anyway,
Oh,
um
okay.
so your family dynamics, financial situation, energy levels, and what you and Rihanna, that's my wife, feel called to. So it's already Christian. So I think that since I've discussed like business ventures and I've asked it, like, it knows my stance on abortion and it knows my stance on faith because I debated it about apologetics and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
think it is going to come at it from a Christian perspective. So this is going to be interesting because I still think that even from the Christian perspective, it's going to get it wrong, but we'll see.
We'll see.
You've got three amazing kids. I do. Uh, so the big question is, do you and Rihanna feel like your family is complete, okay? So I'm gonna just from right there, I'm gonna say, um, uh, forget everything about me,
You just
please.
black men in black
About
mind
me.
flash it.
Dang it. Forget everything about me. I want to know for the average person. And also, I can't type. Grammarly, another AI is going to help me out. All right, here we go. For
So
average For the average person, the ideal number of kids depends on several factors. So this is what it did last time. It overloads you with stuff. So let me just read the bullet points. Uh, 2 to 3 kids. This tends to be the most common family size in many countries. That's actually
hmm.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the U.S., I actually think it's 1.6 is the average kid kind
Yeah,
of.
we're falling below replacement levels.
Exactly. So it's 1.6 in the US. In other countries, it's 2 to 3. Okay, so one child. Some people prefer to have one child due to financial constraints, lifestyle preferences, or concerns about overpopulation. That's interesting. We'll get to that. Don't reply to that yet. Let's skip down. Four or more larger families can create strong sibling bonds and a lively household. However, this comes with greater financial and time constraints. So notice it says four or more, not three. It just says four. I think Chat believes that four is a crazy amount of number, a crazy number.
Hmm.
None. Some individuals or couples choose to remain child free for personal, career, or environmental reasons.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Oh,
People do choose that reason.
right. That's
Yeah.
true. But I'm guessing people is like it's like global warming. Is that what it's trying to say?
Yeah, but well, basically, people think that people are either causing environmental problems, and so adding to that problem is an issue, or they think that the world is coming to an end because of environmental issues, so they don't want to bring another person into that.
Okay. Okay. So let's start with a few of these. We can ask more pointed questions to some of these points that it has, but let's start with the first one. 2 to 3 kids. Most common family size in the country. We already kind of talked about U.S. Why do you think the U.S. is so low?
I think the reason that the U.S. is lower than the count in many other countries is that the US has become more, or I should say, almost too prosperous.
Mm,
And so, because we have become so comfortable within the country, it has a way of lulling people into a state in which they make their own desires and their own comfort the god of their lives.
mm-hmm.
And so, having kids is hard. It's worth it. It's rewarding, and it's one of the best decisions that you can ever make. But it's hard. It's work. It takes time. It takes money. It takes self sacrifice, especially on the woman's part. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of those things don't jive with modern American culture. Modern American culture is about, where are you going on vacation?
Mm-hmm.
What is your next career move? What do you like to do with your life? When are you going to see your friends again? Where are you going to get to go hang out this weekend? That's modern American culture, and that doesn't fit with changing diapers at 2:30 in the morning and having to get up at 7 to go to work.
Yep.
It just doesn't fit.
So I'll get your thoughts on this, but I was very curious because I thought about this and I was very curious and looked it up. But the um the I wanted to see if there was correlation between women in the workplace and fertility rates in the U.S. So I
Hmm.
looked it up, and I should have brought this to this episode. I guess I could pull
Yeah,
it up now,
that
but
sounds like a good
but
one.
but yeah. But I'll just have you guys trust me on this and have you guys do your own research because I have other things that I want to look up and it will be too long. But I looked it up, and so in like the 1920s, around the war, it started going up. So like you had women working in factories and different places like that, in the army and whatnot. And then at that point, you could see in the fertility rates starting to go down. And as you got into the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, it's just like this. So the graph fertility rate is up here, and the women in the workplace is right here, and it just does this to where they like meet because the women in the workplace goes up and the fertility rate goes down. That being said, each one was going up. So fertility rate was going down and women in the workforce was going up. I'm not saying that it's your fault, ladies. I'm not saying that. Um I'm just I just want you to see the information. So don't crucify me, please.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you, like I said, having kids is hard. If you have a bunch of women who are working, then of course the fertility rate is going to go down
Mhm.
because they don't have as much time and energy to put into having children
Yep.
as they would if they were not working. That's
Mm.
not even to like touch the topic of whether women should work or not. That's not, that's a whole separate issue. That's the logical conclusion. If you take a huge chunk of a woman's energy and time away from her doing anything else, whether it's working or not, then her ability to have and raise children is going to diminish.
Mm. And I would say that I mean it's sad, and I hate that if you're a woman in the workforce and you're listening to this and you're saying, "Oh, they're saying that, man, I have to quit my job." That's not necessarily true. But
No, they're just saying that we're sexist pigs. That's what they
we
would be
are,
saying.
yeah, that's probably what they're saying. But I will say that this is a detriment to society. That is our point of view. Is that the less kids we have is not good for the earth, just in general, as a whole. It's also not good for Christianity, because you're not um, making Christians. You are not
Yeah,
the part of the reason or part of the mission of a Christian family is to grow, nurture Christian men and women. That's the
true.
a part of the goal of the Christian family. And if you're not having kids, or maybe you're just having one, I would say that you could. What's the best word? You could do better. Maybe that's not the best
Whoa,
word.
whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
whoa. Easy, easy. I'm gonna get smacked. But yeah, well, and I will preface this. My brother, not this brother, Matt, you have 4 kids, right?
Yeah,
I have 3. My brother Kenny has 9. So
yeah.
if you guys think 3 or 2 are too much, then I would point you in his direction.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that I don't think anybody can really get around this, and that is the fact that the Bible is pretty clear that um, a woman is was essentially cursed at the fall of man with pain in childbirth, right?
Hmm. Right.
And so essentially, if you are choosing not to have kids to run away from that, not only are you running away from your God given gift of the ability to have children, it's literally in your biology
Mm,
that you were equipped for this purpose. Now, not everybody can have children. I completely understand that. And there's absolutely no shame or anything against a woman who cannot have kids. And there are many who want kids and can't have them. But there are also many that don't want kids but could have them. And so not only are you running from your God's natural design for your purpose in the world, but you're also running from his curse, the curse that was put on you to not punish, for lack of a better term, but to bring retribution for the original sin.
Right.
And in the same way, men struggle with the same types of things. We are
Yeah.
supposed to be leaders. That's our natural
Hmm.
role. But
Yep.
there are many men that run from leadership. How many women in our society do you sit and or do you have to hear about on TikTok or wherever you run into them, about how they can never get their man to do anything, about how they're the ones that always have to raise the kids or discipline the kids, or all the different classic husband complaints? What is that? That
Yeah.
is a man running from his natural role.
Yeah.
And so the woman has to step in and fulfill those duties, and she hates it, and she should. And a woman's natural role is to bear children and raise them. And the culture hates to hear that, because you're a sexist, awful person if you
Yeah.
insinuate that a woman's natural role aligns with her biology and her purpose.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're the worst person in the world.
Yeah, they also we hate hearing that we might be wrong about something. Just humans in general, we hate hearing that we might be doing something wrong, or maybe ideas are flawed. This is a one of the most common um ideas, thoughts, practices that parents have. Is they constantly almost put you have parents that put their kids on a pedestal, and then put down their kids, or maybe look at their kids as burdens. And each group really set the wrong precedent for the people that are yet to have kids, because those people are saying, man, I really don't want to have kids because look at all these people saying that they have so many burdens. And then you have the parents that are more or less putting their kids up high on pedestals and be like, man, I don't want a parent like that. That I would hate to be that parent that's screaming in the baseball fields at their kid to get it good, or whatever. It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things where we're going in a circle of constant uh, just not helping each other. Uh, but I think that our goal as parents, for people who are parents right now, is to talk well about your kids. That is step one, I think, to talk well about your kids, and to appreciate kids, to look at kids as blessings and not curses. Same
Well,
thing with your wives.
yeah, that's another big topic. But I think what a lot of people miss is that uh, parents are no longer they no longer take accountability for anything.
Right.
So it goes over a lot of people's heads that when you complain about your kids, what you're doing is telling on yourself about the quality of parent that you are. Because
Hmm.
where do the kids learn these things from? Whose job is it to raise these kids and teach them how they should act?
Yeah,
Whose job is that?
and if your kids are pains, or if they're like hellions or whatever, guess what? That's most likely your fault.
Yeah, because
The
look, your
parents' fault.
complaints your complaints might be valid. Everything you say about your child might actually absolutely be true. And that's the problem. But
What
you
did
want
you
to
do?
blame the kid. You want to
Yeah.
blame the kid like you had nothing to do with it. No,
Yeah.
you failed. That's why your kid acts like that.
Yeah. And sorry we have to say that, but if nobody else is going to say it, I guess we will. We will bear that cross for you.
Yeah.
We could spend a lot of time on just that in and of itself, but let's get back to Chat GPT and see what he says about these kids. So let's dig in a little bit more. So it says one child. Some people prefer to have one due to financial constraints, lifestyle preferences. So let me uh, say, explain more about point number two. What constraints? Okay, so point number
Hmm.
2, constraints in one child, constraints and considerations from our friendly neighborhood Chat GPT. So, number one, financial constraints. Raising a child is expensive, and some families feel they can provide a higher quality of life with fewer children. Key financial burdens include housing. A larger family may require a bigger home with a
Bigger
bigger
home, yeah.
home, which increases costs. Education, private school, college tuition, extracurricular activities can be costly. Childcare, if both parents work, daycare or a nanny can be expensive. Healthcare, medical expenses, insurance, and unexpected health costs can add up. So, what is your response to his financial constraint?
Well, the problem is not the fact that there's financial considerations in raising children. That's not the problem. The problem is what people categorize as a financial constraint.
Mm,
Because essentially what you have to go on is how those people view their lives. So one couple might make, $200,000 a year, and they feel like they have financial constraints
yeah,
because they have a $1,500 car payment, their house payment's $3,500, they have two jet skis, and they have all these different subscriptions. They want to go on two vacations a year. So that $200,000 dissipates pretty quickly because you have a ton of expenses.
right.
So, but then you have another couple that makes $60,000 a year, and they have three kids, and the other couple has one.
Right.
The difference between those two is perspective and priority. The couple that makes $200,000 a year could afford more kids if they wanted.
Yeah.
It's just that they want other things more than they want kids. Now, is that necessarily wrong? Not necessarily. It could be, though. It
Yeah, for
could be a
sure.
problem. And so, but everybody wants to take it as face value, like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, kids are expensive, so you might only want to have two or might want to stick with one because times are hard. Do you understand how many people are out there making $50,000 or less with four or more kids?
Yeah.
Now that may not be the situation that you should strive for.
Yeah.
You should always want to work hard and improve
Provide.
yourself, including your income,
Right.
and provide. But to say that the average American family, that I think the average median income is somewhere between like 80 or $90,000 when you have two
Mm,
working parents. To say that having more than one or two children with that kind of money coming in is too expensive, I just don't believe it in a lot of cases
yeah.
because of the
Well,
people I know that have more kids than that.
yeah, yeah, we know quite a few people that have more kids, and a few of them have just one primary breadwinner, which would be the husband, and they're still making ends meet. But
Yeah,
I think you hit the nail right on the head because to put it in layman's terms, if a guy really wants a nice car, he will do and cut whatever it takes to get that nice car.
yeah,
He'll find a way. If you want a hobby, you usually sacrifice other things, your time, your money, to devote to a certain hobby.
yeah.
Kids do the same thing. If
Mm-hmm.
you want more kids, you most likely have time and have the resources. You just won't, or don't know that you can sacrifice other things and save other resources to devote to it. You
Yeah,
do. You probably can do it. It's just a matter of you pulling the trigger. Do I think that's the majority of the couple's problems? I don't think the financial constraints is it. I don't think the
yeah.
financial constraints is like the biggest one that couples use and say, you know what, I don't want to have this many kids because of financial constraints. I actually think that's a small portion.
Yeah, and I don't think that we should. necessarily tell people that they should or have to have more kids, but I think that it's important to ask the question, why do you not want more kids?
Right.
Because if the answer to the question of I don't want more kids is because I'd rather have a jet ski, well, that is a selfish answer.
Or a common thing we hear a lot is, well, I just want to spend time with my wife. And
Or
then
yeah,
we're
or I
like,
want the freedom to travel the world or
travel the
whatever.
world, or and for women, a big thing is, I don't want to sacrifice my career.
Career,
Um,
or they don't want to go through the process of
which
childbirth.
I'm sure we're going to get to that. So let's go move on to point number two: time and energy constraints. Parental attention. Some parents prefer to focus all their attention and energy on one child, ensuring they get the best opportunities and guidance. Career demands. Parents with demanding jobs or frequent travel may find it challenging to balance work and multiple children. And then the last one in that point, personal freedom. Having fewer kids allows for more flexibility in travel, hobbies, and personal time. Well, I guess we are going to get into that on this point. So I want to say a quick thing about parental attention. So some parents prefer to focus all their attention on all
Yeah.
their love on one singular child. It's kind of like they look at, they only have so much love to give. You know, they
Mhm.
they only have so much love to shell out to somebody. Which I think in this case they're more talking about time, and I guess that's true. But again, you have a lot more time than you think. You have a lot more time than you think. If you've ever had a puppy and it requires attention, you give it that necessary attention. That's not once you have a kid, it's like not even a question of oh, should I devote my time to this kid? No, you're going to devote the time to the kid. It's right there in front of you. You love it. You give it to him freely. But the thing that really is funny about this one is, um I hear a lot of people say, you know, you're going to have, if you have more than three kids, you're going to have kids feeling left out because you're not going to be able to, you know, raise them and nurture them. I don't understand that logic at all. I don't understand that way of thinking. I actually think that whatever, they can get everything that they need, everything that they have.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 kids, it doesn't matter. You can raise them to give them the proper foundations, the proper work ethic training, the proper beliefs, faith beliefs. Whatever it is, you can get them to do their chores. You can get them to get along with their siblings and whatnot. Like everything that they need, you can give to them pretty much no matter how many kids you have, except the only thing is, the one thing is true, that you can't spend as much time with them. I
Yeah.
hear my brother Kenny say that a lot. Is it's true, you don't get to spend that much time with them. But when you have one child, what is all that extra time doing? Is that making like a super baby, a superhuman, to where they can
No.
take anything and rule everything? In fact, I would
Oftentimes it
say
hurts the child.
oftentimes it hurts the child. And you see a lot of single children being lonely, having more depression, being a little bit more lazy inside the house. They don't really want to get out. They seek attention a lot more, even though they have all of it. They're more brats. And I'm not saying this is all single kids because I married a only child, but you get my point. It's not up to, it's not up to how many kids you have. It's how you manage and how you raise your kids.
Yeah, there's two things that singular children, well, that causes the issue. Number one is the amount of attention a child gets is can be detrimental to their character, because
Mm,
you focus on the attention you can give the child, but nobody takes the time to think about the attention you're depriving them of getting from a sibling.
Mm.
Siblings teach lessons that parents cannot. The
Yep.
relationship between siblings prepares you for life in a way that a parent is not able to, because it's a different relationship. It's more of a peer to peer relationship versus a kid to authority relationship, which is a
Right.
different dynamic. And in the workplace and in school and in life in general, you're going to have relationships to authority, but you're also going to have relationships to peers, and you have to learn how to deal with someone who is your equal and to get along with them and find common ground and work things out. That's something siblings teach kids that parents have a really hard time of doing because they're not in, or at least shouldn't be, in that same relationship dynamic. Not to
Right.
mention, um, the a child and a parent, while the parent may not be able to spend as much time and money on the child, that does not replace what the siblings can offer them, not only in what I already talked about, but in a friendship aspect, a lifelong companion type of thing, where they will then have a support system that follows them through life that
Mm.
you don't find. And this is something that people can't understand unless you have siblings who you know and love,
Mm.
that there's a support there that you always have, unless that you always have no matter where you go or what happens, that your parents can't always offer you that same type of support.
Yeah.
And whether it's watching each other's children or staying with them at a certain time of your life, all kinds of different things that happen. And there's a support system that siblings build for each other that you don't find in anywhere else in life besides really close friendships, which are hard to find.
Yeah. Um, that's very well said. The next point was career demands, which is a good one. And it's partially true. Career demands, parents with demanding jobs or frequent travel may find it challenging to balance work and multiple children. There's a few people that I know that put off having kids for a while because of a job. And they did. They put the job off for a little bit, or I'm sorry, they put off having children for a little bit to focus on the job, and then after 5 years or so they either quit that job, left the job, or whatever, and started having kids. So I'm not going to say that that is not partially true. I think the majority of the cases, though, is the family deciding, hey, we need more money in this house, and they purposely say no to kids for, I'm going to say, convenience. I'm going to get roasted in the comments if anybody listens to this, but um, you're denying child rearing for convenience and money, which
Yeah.
I would say I would disagree with you um, uh, if that is the case. I would say that it should be the opposite. That your future kids, if you have any, your future kids should take precedent over any sort of money move or career move. Even me, as now, I've turned down plenty of jobs that would have been put my family in a bad situation, and I said no to them. It was more money. And
Yeah.
I was the primary breadwinner, so my wife wasn't working. So it would have been really good for us at the time. But you should prioritize your kids, your future kids, even over convenience, money, and career.
Yeah. And the thing is that people don't people don't think about what kids bring to their lives,
Mm,
because the pushback that you'll get is, okay, so but what is the problem with me wanting these things rather than kids? Why is that an issue? So what if I'm being a little selfish? Why is that a bad thing for me to want to be able to go on vacation, to want to have a jet ski, all these different things, to want to have more time or freedom? Here's the answer to that. The answer is that those things stem most often from uh, deficiencies in your own character.
Mm-hmm.
And having children, in a lot of ways, raises you because you have to burn off the imperfections in your own character in order to love and raise this child. You have to
Yep.
put them before you. You have to devote time to them instead of devoting time to other things. You have to
Mm.
learn. You have to become more loving, where maybe you're more of a harsh person. You have to become more understanding. You have to
Yep.
understand emotions. You have to become consistent because
Yep.
you can't raise a child unless you consistently guide them in the right direction.
Right.
All of these things and many more are great aspects to have as a person, great uh, parts of a person's character. And and you probably don't have a lot of those if what you are thinking of is, why can't I go to Florida instead?
Yeah.
Because you have a problem in your heart, and
Yeah.
raising children can help you fix that.
Yeah, what's the why behind it? You know, why do you not want to have kids? Well, I want to travel. Why? What is it about, like you said, your character that makes you want that? It's usually immaturity. And in
Mhm.
everybody's life, there is a point where you have to grow up. And one of the things we're always trying to run away from adding responsibility or running away from becoming an adult when you're in your younger years.
Yeah.
People still do that to like when they're in their 30s. They're trying to get out of responsibilities and getting out of things. They still want that. I think that's why Captain America and Marvel and like superheroes just took off. Is especially guys, want to remain in that state of, well, I want to be a little kid again. I want to be a hero, and I want to save the world and whatnot. But there is a time where it's time to grow up. And the thing is about kids is that, like Matt said, it will grow you up. It
Yeah.
will make you, if you want to be the best in the best individual when it comes to um uh uh talking with people, to empathize with people, to have patience, to be kind and nice in troubling times. um you want to have kids. That's what's going to happen when you have kids. That it hardens you. It strengthens you in those areas, and the areas that you are most likely weak in.
I want to get your thoughts on how you feel Chat GPT or Chat GPT's overall take on child rearing and raising is so far.
Yeah, so it's typical. I think.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to ask Grok the same things, um,
Yeah.
but
We could do another episode of Ask Grok.
yeah, ask Rock. Yeah, we would have you host it. Emotional and mental health considerations, social and environmental concerns, potential downsides of having one child. So all these things I actually kind of expected, because ChatGPT pulls from a ton of resources online, in
Right.
its data banks. But um, I would say that it typically answered what I thought it would answer, and it usually does do that. It gives the
Mhm.
majorative answer. If you ask about abortion, it does the same thing. It
Mhm.
sides with the abortionist, really. Now, is ChatGPT would ChatGPT be something that I would look for to give advice to somebody, as it pertains to the having kids realm? No, we disagree with ChatGPT when it comes to child rearing and how many kids you should have. My opinion, to sum up my opinion, and I'll let you sum up yours, is you should have as many kids as possible and truly run your day and your life through a fine tooth comb to figure out what you can do to open up enough to have kids. And when you do that, seek advice from an actual wise person that might have a lot of kids. And I promise you, it's not as bad as you think. I don't think it's as bad as you think. I actually think it's harder. It's easier in some ways. It's harder in other ways, but the pros far outweigh the cons. Like I don't know where my heart would be without my kids. It truly is one of the best things that's ever happened to me besides Christ and my wife. And if you're the type of person that is sincere about wanting to live the best life or have the best life, then being a father or a mother is that thing. That's what you should
Yeah,
do. My opinion is you should live to glorify Christ, and I
yeah.
think that's part of the commandment on my life that he placed on us is to have and raise Christian kids. But that is my opinion summed up.
Well, my opinion actually differs a little bit uh from yours, I think. I think a person should have as many kids as they want, but they should ask themselves why they want what they want.
Hmm.
And depending on what the answer to that question is, sometimes that means you should have more kids anyway. And
Hmm.
then other times it means that, well, that's fine. Just have the amount you have then. Um, for instance, I have 4 kids. My wife is pretty sure she's done. And maybe that won't end up being true in 10 years. I don't know. Maybe it will. Um, but she's had 4 already. There are some health concerns with having another one. And at a certain point, sometimes you have to look at, okay, is it worth risking for a fifth versus, potentially not being there for the 4? So
Hmm.
there are those scenarios in life. And so sometimes the
Right.
answer to why do you want what you want is a good reason. But other times the reason is a jet ski. And I think that you should probably have a kid to help you learn how to grow up a little bit in those kind of
Also,
circumstances.
I think if you open up your mind a little bit, your wants will change over time. Like if you think back to when you're 18, 2 years later, you want things completely different than when you were 18, right?
Yeah.
That's how life is. So as long as you're open to these ideas, I actually think that God is going to move you towards having more kids. My wife wanted to stop at 2. I don't know about Jenna, your wife,
She
and
wanted to stop
3
at
kids.
1,
1. So
but that
God will
changed.
change your heart, I
Yeah.
believe. God will change your heart and bring you closer to what
No,
He
I
has.
did not force her to have more. Her opinion changed. For all you people out there who are going to watch this and try to
Yeah,
accuse us of being evil dictators, no,
yeah,
our wives made the decisions. We just gave our opinion.
yeah. Well, for me, it's a little bit different. I had Chat GPT pretty much uh, tell me how to be in a relationship with my wife and how to
Oh,
fight.
yeah, yeah. That's
That's what
that's
I
good.
did.
That's what I
Uh,
should have done. I didn't do that. I should have done that.
no, no, Grok.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
so
Grok.
I'll do Chat GPT, you do Grok, and then we'll figure out
No.
who lives the longest.
No, if I used Grok, I'd have like 10 now. So, maybe
Yeah,
not.
with different wives.
Yeah, exactly. Like Elon.
Yeah, Elon.
Elon.
Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us on that ride. This was kind of an experiment. Let us know if you kind of like this kind of content. We could do a lot with this. Like I said, me and Matt were talking before the show. The abortion topic with AI is a pretty interesting and fun one. But it kind of does the same thing, and you can run it around in circles. I promise. But anyway, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Leave a like and a comment, and share the video if you will. It helps us out for this brand new YouTube podcast. But we appreciate it. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. Hopefully, we don't see you next time.
See ya.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.